However, this does rely on the fact, in Facebook or in Google+, you've got something to actually talk about in the first place. Okay. Who doesn't really get Twitter? I'm going to be honest with you, there's a bit, 3 or 4 people maybe, a bit more hands actually going up. Hands up, okay. This is the fundamentals of Twitter, and then I'll put you towards some resources. The fundamental idea is that you post small messages, 140 characters. It's not like email, it's not interrupted, but we dip in and out of it. So I'm following here 100 people, and I will then see their tweets coming up here. Okay? Now, I just follow people that are talking about digital marketing. For me, this is a way of filtering digital marketing news. So I can just go through and understand what's going on, because by nature of what I do, I need to stay up to date with it all the time. I'm following this, and therefore I see their tweets. I've got 1,569 people following me. That means when I tweet, they see what I'm saying. What's the advantage of that? I've got a report, people come and look at the report. I go, this is really useful, they might go and look at it. They might retweet it, they might push it out to their friends. But you dip in and out of this on your phone, you kind of scroll down, you see what's being spoken about as well. So it's a kind of stream of kind of messages on the topic. It depends how many people you follow, how useful it is. If you follow thousands of people, it's way too much content going on as well. Okay. But the reality is we can start to use this. This is a great traffic driver. So if you can get a couple of key journalists or a couple of key people that are influencers following you, it's just a way of them actually seeing what you're talking about. Okay. Now, the reality of this is you need something to point out as normal, but you might point out your content, you might point out other things in your industry that you think and the topic you talk about that are useful. So it's really thinking about, in the sector we're working, are there useful things going on? Is there a piece of legislation that's come out that everyone needs to know about as well? Is there funding available? Is there an issue we need to raise awareness of? And if we point out in Twitter, we can build an audience for doing that. Now, what you will notice in Twitter are these kind of little things here, which are shortened URLs. What does that mean? It means if I was going here, and I had a web page, www.mywebsite.com/mypage, whatever it is, I've just taken up my entire tweet with this link, which is very useful. So there are services that allow us to shorten these down, so we can fit it in. I just wanted to show you one and tell you why it's useful. So, this is Google, okay, GOO.GL. It's owned by Google, unsurprisingly. I go in here, and I say, I was going to link to targetinternet.com when big data meet, anyway, the big long link here, and it turns it into that for me. Free service. What then happens is I put that into my tweet. Okay, here's my latest report, put it in. Then it will give me a load of things, how many people have clicked on it, where they were, what browser they were using, and all those sorts. So it gives me a bit of reporting. So I can start to see, we put a tweet out, did anybody actually look at it? Yes or no? And I can start to see some results coming back. So you shorten the URLs. The other thing it does do, which may or may not be relevant, do you know it's one of these things? You come across QR codes before? So you put it into a print ad. And basically the idea is, you scan that on your phone, and it takes you through to this link as well. How many people here have ever used a QR code? Well, maybe half the room almost. How many people use them regularly? One person. This is the problem. The adoption rates are growing, and you'll see statistics say 9,000% growth in the last year. But that's going from 100 people using it to a number more 100 people using it. It's not massive, but it is growing as well. So if you ever want to generate one of these for free, this is a tool that allows you to generate these. You could then put that in a print ad or whatever else, or a brochure or a catalogue or anything else, using a leaflet as well. The other thing we might want to do is work out what's being said about us online. I'll finish things up in a moment. Social media monitoring. We can put some words into one of these tools, and it will tell us where those words are being mentioned online. Whether it is a topic, or it's our name, or anything else. There are expensive tools, and there are free tools, and there's lots of stuff in between as well. Expensive ones, the industry-leading Radian 6 brand watch, you won't get cheaper than £600 a month, so probably not for us. Okay? However, socialmention.com, you go to social mention, you put a word in, it will go off as free, and it will come back and give you some rough idea of what's going on online as well. Okay? There's another one called 48ers, which is a less known one, 48ers.com. Same thing, you put a word in, it will bring you back and tell you what's being said online. Those books as well. This is one called Viral Heat, which is $50 a month, it's one I use. And it basically tells me what's being said in Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, video websites and those other places. Why this is useful is this. I'm going to this, say what's being said day by day, but then who are the people that are talking most about this topic? And it will tell me who the influencers are. So if I'm trying to work out who are the bloggers I need to get in contact with, who are the people on Twitter that are relevant, this will give me a report for doing those kind of things as well. And social mention does that kind of thing as well. Okay? Again, if you want to use this, drop me an email, I'll send you tools and guides and things like that, how to use this stuff in real world practice as well. So, put this in perspective. This is my website. It's built on WordPress, free. I bought a template that was $40 to make it look the way it looks, because you can completely change the way things look. And then what I do is I publish content down here, and then I just link out to Facebook, Google+, Twitter, LinkedIn, all those kind of things. So, content on the website, social pointing back to it, get lots of people talking, lots of engagement, but the knock-on impact of that is you go up the search ranking. Okay? So, from that point of view, you can generate lots of traffic by doing these two things. You create some content, you then put this stuff together, and then you're pointing back at it. Okay? Going through this really quickly, making it sound nice and easy. The reality of doing this is it's not that bad, but there's some steps to go through. There are lots of free resources for doing these things, and there's some people out there that will potentially help you do this stuff for next to nothing or nothing as well. Okay. Now, I was then going to go on and talk about analytics. I'm not going to go through this in detail now because it is actually now 7:05, and I think analytics will definitely finish you off. Okay, so let's say a couple of key things about it. Google Analytics is free. Who's got it installed on their website at the moment? one person, two people at the moment. Now, having it installed is not using it. That's one of the key things. Okay, I go into lots of big organisations. They proudly say, "Well, we've got analytics." Absolutely. The reality is nobody looks at it. Or once a month they hold up a chart that's going upwards, and then that's ticked the box in the board meeting. Okay. The reality is it's doing some of this, which is the challenge. Okay. So your problem will never be not having enough data anymore. Your problem is having reams too much data and not knowing which bit of it is actually relevant for you. Okay? If you feedback after this and this stuff was useful and so on as well, maybe we'll come back and do something like this in the future and take you through it in a bit more detail as well. If you think it's useful, we'll try and get some feedback to gauge what's useful afterwards as well. I get tons of reports, goals, I won't go into these now, but I'll give you an example of this in the real world. Okay? This can be quite misleading, so this is where you need to be careful. I went to a bank, and they said to me, we've redesigned our website, we're pretty smart, and people are now staying 3 times longer. That's a good thing, they're engaging, they're reading the content, right? Because they're staying 3 times longer. What actually happened? Well, we worked out the average visit before they changed things, they were staying for 5 seconds. Why is that? They come in, they wait for the page to load, and then they were clicking log in to personal banking. That was the average visit. What did they do in the redesign? They moved the button. Button's down here. So people come in, they wait 5 seconds for the page to load, then they spend 10 seconds going, where's the button gone? Then they find it, they click on it. Your analytics is 300% increase in duration. What's really happened, you've annoyed the hell out of your customers for 10 seconds. Okay? So the danger of the data is we misinterpret it. And actually, the reality of this is interpretation is important. I'll just skip over a few slides here. And this is the key thing. Avinash Kushik works for Google, and he's their product evangelist. Okay? This is a fairly light-hearted rule, but I'll try and apply it to us. What it says is for every $10 you spend on data, you should spend $90 on people to tell you what that data means. Okay? So the point is that we're going to have to spend lots of money. The point is, if we're going to look at analytics, we're going to need to spend time analysing it. We need to spend time actually understanding and learning and doing things useful. There's a great opportunity here, but having analytics installed isn't using analytics. What I would say is, if you can get it set up on your website, get it set up now, and then at least it's collecting data, and then you can go and do something with it in the future when you start to see some of this search stuff and you start to see some of this social media stuff as well. Okay? So, if you are interested in this and you want to go, I've just put in the slides here some really good resources. YouTube have a channel on this with video after video explaining how to do it. So they're actually quite accessible videos. If you search Google Conversion University, sounds horrendous. It's actually a free online learning as well. And then the last one, if you want a book, Google Analytics an hour a day. It's a real straightforward guide to do these kind of things as well. Okay. So, conclusions. Agree some key phrases. What are the words that people are searching for that you should actually be visible for? Because you're going to increase your visibility. Okay? Try and SEO your content. So let's get the right words in the right places, if you potentially can, on your content. Promote your content in social media. Tweet about it, get other people that are blogging. If you're not even tweeting, get someone else that's tweeting, other people that are related to actually talk about your stuff and point towards it. What you're trying to do is build advocacy. You want people to really be passionate about stuff you're doing and link back to it. And actually, by nature of what you do, there's actually an opportunity for doing that, whereas a lot of commercial organisations don't have that opportunity as well. Ideally then, you go into analytics and you can see what's working, what's not working. Okay, and we'll talk about that more another time. The other thing we haven't spoken about today, which is an opportunity, is starting to collect email addresses. Because then you build up a list of people you could be emailing in the future. And again, I'll point you a resource to do this, but we can do another session in the future, which I'm gradually talking myself into quite clearly, then we'll come back and talk about that stuff, because I think that's the next stage of stuff that can be useful. And there are some brilliant free tools for doing this. If you want to look at this now, MailChimp.com. MailChimp.com, free email tool. You can send out thousands of email a month for nothing. Okay? But don't do it unless you've got something to say. So what this all comes down to is content at the end of the day. You need something interesting to say to people to do this. And there is a resource, whether that's time or engage with other people, to create content. So the shoestring is the content creation bit a lot of the time, and then trying to look back at this stuff as well. All I want to go through for today, very patient listening. I've just noticed I've misspelled my own name on this slide, so I'm going to edit that. It's danielrowles@me.com, but it is R-O-W-L-E-S, as you can see spelled here. Target Internet, there is loads of free stuff in there. There's a podcast, it's like an audio show. We do it every 2 weeks, you can listen to that. There's a load of reports, there's a best practice email guide. There's one section that's got stuff for sale. I'm trying to point you at that, so that's just online learning stuff. Forget about that, loads of free stuff on there for you, so have a look at that. Get in contact with me if you've got questions afterwards. If you're on LinkedIn, feel free to join up, and I'll be more than happy to try and answer questions. Has anybody got any questions now?